Guys, it is hot. I know y'all feel the heat too. And I'm getting our supper early. I'm only using the stovetop, and I'm actually going to use the electric skillet. And all we're going to have is buttered noodles, and I'm going to use, let me set my fork down, bucatini. It's just it's like a spaghetti noodle. I like it because it's kind of thick and round. I don't know. I love this pasta ever since I bought it. And I believe it's pronounced bucatini. Y'all know Lippy, I butcher it. But I'm not going to use the whole box. Only about half. And it's going to be light. So we're just going to make buttered noodles with our lemon juice pucks and our basil pucks. And it's really, really simple. It's light. But our meat of choice is actually going to be, if you're wondering why I'm making noise, I'm trying to get some eggs beaten. But what I have chose for the meat, because we've been having a lot of chicken, is I took boneless pork chops. They're just thin, boneless pork chops. And you see how paper thin they are? That's because I took a mallet and I thinned them out. And I believe I have 6. That's going to give us sandwiches for tomorrow. I can just heat them up. So tomorrow night we can have sandwiches. Or just have that and some salad. Oh, I hear my water boiling for our pasta. So I'm going to drop the camera. We're just having pork cutlets. And we're going to have buttered pasta. And I call it butter because I'm using a stick of butter. But easy ingredients. Probably you guys have all the ingredients. And instead of chicken, we're going to do the oink oink. That'd be the pork. Now, I haven't seasoned them because what we're going to dredge them in will have plenty of seasoning. But the reason why I like to really beat, and this is about 3 eggs. Well, it ain't about, it is 3 eggs. And I'm just beating them in this bowl. And to this, I'm going to add Italian dressing, or you can add the little packet of Italian dressing. It's not going to take much. I don't know. Not quite 1/4 cup. And we're going to get this blended really well. If I had Pecorino Romano, I would use it, but all I've got is Parm. So that's our cheese of choice. Add a little bit of pepper. No salt. Because what we put over here, it'll have a little bit of salt. So I'm good with this. Now, let's move to our breading. Y'all know I like 4 C's seasoned breadcrumbs. There's a 1/2 cup. I'm trying to measure, guys. So that was 3 beaten eggs, 1/4 cup Italian dressing. So there's a cup. I'm going to need probably 1.5 cups, just like that. And this is the brand that I like to use. To this, I'm going to add more Parm. A little bit of my homemade garlic salt and pepper. Keeping it simple. We're just going to give this a good toss. Now all we're going to do is nestle, and you could do chicken just like this if you didn't want pork. We're just going to nestle all of this pork into this egg mixture. Get it well coated. Yes, it's a mess, but we want this to sit for a little bit while we work on our pasta, just like that. All right, let's get our heat cranked back up. It says 11 to 13 minutes. I'm gonna go at the probably 11, maybe down to 10 minutes, because I want them al dente, because we've got to get them into a skillet. Coming up to a boil. Enough salt to make it taste like the sea. Now I took half the box and I did cut the noodle in half. It's still fairly large, but I don't like a real long noodle. Now how we're going to get flavor in this, it's been going 5 minutes, so I'm half there. So I'm just going to take a teaspoon of chicken base, because we're going to save some of this broth to make our butter noodles. So we want to add some flavor now. And that's also going to flavor the pasta because it's starting to get tender. I just rinsed the pot out that I boiled the noodles in. The pasta is perfect. Gonna save on dishes. I'm doing 6 tablespoons. So we're gonna get that butter melting. Now this is gonna go fast. Uh-oh, y'all, my basil ice cube set out too long, so I gotta wash my hands, but that's just basil and olive oil. Y'all seen me put that up. But look, hot mess. Now I'm gonna add just about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Butter's almost melted. A heaping tablespoon of minced garlic. And it doesn't take long. As soon as you smell that garlic. We're gonna go in with a little garlic salt, not much. Lemon pepper. This is gonna be to taste now, guys. Black pepper, and you work fast because we don't want that garlic to burn. Red pepper flakes, which is optional. Maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. 1 cup of our reserve broth. Whoops. From where we boiled our noodles. Because remember, we added a teaspoon of that chicken base 5 minutes into cooking our pasta. I'm going to turn the stove eye down to about a number 3. Here is 2 tablespoons of frozen lemon juice, and I'm going to turn it because this is where my basil was sitting, and maybe, well, I was thinking I could get the rest of that basil. So if you're using fresh lemon, just use a medium lemon squeeze. Now that it has calmed down, I'm gonna crank my stove eye back to number 8. And we want this to kind of boil about 3 minutes. Pasta, it has reduced down. We can turn the heat off. Oh yeah. The perfect summer supper. And yes, I'm heavy-handed with parm and on the stove. You have to get it on the stove for you to feel like a real chef. This is when we finish it off with 2 more tablespoons of butter. That's what's going to give that silkiness at the end. Now to dress it up, just some dried parsley. And there's buttered noodles, my friends. I'm ready to dig into this. All right, let's heat up the electric skillet. I want it on about 350. I'm using avocado oil. You want enough to cover the bottom and barely come up the side. As soon as the oil gets heated, we'll do our dredge, fry it, and it doesn't take long. All right, guys. Now, you can use a fork. You can put gloves on. But many of you know Lippy. I use my hands. And you see, I really want these coated. Let me see. Oh yeah, we are ready. I always like to shake it off. And we'll have to do these in batches. Look at this, guys. Oh my. Our pork cutlets are done. Butter pasta. And this is supper tonight, guys. I'm gonna cheat and get a little corner piece of pork cutlet. Y'all, it's like butter in your mouth because you don't want to overcook it. Y'all know I'm all about the pork, but the flavor. And like I said, you can do this with chicken. Leftovers tomorrow, put it in a sandwich. Eat it by itself. Now, there's no really easy way to eat noodles. You gotta twirl them. Hence why Buddy loves penne. And and I'm trying to be all ladylike with these noodles that want to go everywhere. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna have to tear a piece. Look, I'll do a lot of things on camera, but having a 14-inch noodle coming out of my mouth, yeah, nah, this is good enough. Y'all. If you like pasta, you like butter, garlic, that little hint of basil. Now you could leave the basil out. Don't skimp on that butter. And then when you plate up, you put more parm on it. See, this is a decadent meal for Buddy and I. Simple, affordable, and we have our greens, right? We have parsley. You gotta have your greens. But this pork, yeah, I'm glad this is just in video because it's so tender, I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably be picking it up, eating it with my hands. So I have it in my covered dish to stay warm. I'm not putting the cover yet on the cutlets because I don't want them to get soggy. I did have them on a plate, you know, lined with paper towel so they could drain. And then I put them into this bowl. But I don't want to cover them just yet because they're still a little warm. And then they get all, you know, soggy like. So, my friends, this is how I make my pork cutlets, buttered noodles, and give it a try. It's easy, no lie. You could do them both if you wasn't making a video. You could have this meal on the table. Well, after you marinate your pork or chicken, you could literally have it 20 minutes or less. 20 minutes or less, and you're not heating up your kitchen. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless, and I will see you guys on the next one. Go fry you up some thin pork cutlets. You love me for it.